In the end, formal elegance isn't about perfection, it's about presence. It's not the cut of the suit or the shine of the shoes that makes a man refined, but the calm assurance behind every gesture, the quiet discipline behind every choice. After 50, you've earned the right to dress for yourself. Not for approval, but for alignment. Your clothes no longer speak louder than you. They move with you. Elegance, when done right, disappears. It leaves behind not an image, but a feeling. A sense of balance, of dignity, of grace. So, the next time you dress for a function, a dinner, a wedding, or a quiet evening among friends, remember, you're not just putting on clothes. You're putting on years of experience, patience, and understanding. You're wearing who you've become. Because true formal style after 50 isn't about turning heads. It's about turning moments into timeless impressions. There's a quiet kind of power in how a man dresses for an occasion. Not the loudness of logos or the sharpness of trends, but the calm assurance that comes from knowing who he is. After 50, formality stops being about rules and starts becoming about respect. For the event, for others, and for himself. It's the way he stands when shaking a hand, the way his jacket moves when he walks, the way his presence feels composed without saying a word. Formal elegance isn't about perfection. It's about ease within structure, a perfectly tailored suit, a shirt that breathes, shoes that carry years of memory. Each element speaks of experience rather than display. At a wedding, a dinner, or a family gathering, a man over 50 doesn't dress to impress. He dresses to honor the moment, because every well-chosen piece, from the lapel to the cufflink, isn't about showing wealth, but showing wisdom. The truth is, true elegance doesn't fade with age. It deepens. It moves slower, speaks softer, and feels more intentional. And that's what makes it timeless. This is formal elegance after 50, where style is no longer a performance, but a reflection of grace, confidence, and presence. Secret 1. Tailoring is everything. The perfect fit for formal confidence. The first rule of formal elegance isn't about price or brand, it's about fit. Because no matter how fine the fabric or luxurious the label, an outfit without structure will never command respect. Tailoring is where confidence begins. It's the invisible architecture that defines how a man moves, stands, and is remembered. After 50, your clothes shouldn't hide your shape. They should honor it. A well-cut blazer doesn't just cover the body, it gives it presence. A clean shoulder line, a proper sleeve length, and trousers that break just right above the shoe, these are the silent indicators of refinement. Men often confuse comfort with looseness, but true comfort comes from balance, not excess. A jacket that fits perfectly doesn't restrict you. It moves with you. It gives your posture, purpose, and your gestures ease. That's why the best tailoring feels almost invisible. It becomes part of your confidence, not your costume. If you've ever worn a suit that felt off, it wasn't the color or fabric, it was the cut. The difference between good and exceptional is measured in millimeters. How the lapel curves toward your chest, how the waist tapers without strain, how the trousers fall cleanly when you take a step. These are small details, but they transform the way others perceive you and the way you perceive yourself. Great tailoring also tells a story, one of care and self-respect. Because when you invest in structure, you're saying, "I value how I present myself," and that statement never goes unnoticed. At a wedding, a business dinner, or a quiet celebration, the man whose clothes fit flawlessly doesn't need to seek attention. He earns it simply by being composed, comfortable, and complete. The truth is, tailoring after 50 isn't about changing who you are, it's about refining what already works. You've lived long enough to know that elegance doesn't come from reinvention, it comes from alignment. And when your clothes fit your body, they also fit your confidence. That's where formal elegance truly begins. Secret to fabric speaks. First, wool, linen, and blends that breathe class. Before a man speaks, his fabric already has. Because material is memory, it carries touch, movement, and presence. The way your jacket drapes, how your shirt breathes, how your trousers move as you sit, all these subtle cues whisper who you are. After 50, it's not about chasing novelty, but about choosing materials that grow finer with time. The kind that soften, mold, and move with your rhythm. That's why fabric speaks before you ever say a word. Wool remains the quiet hero of formal wear. It doesn't shout, it flows. It holds its shape, regulates temperature, and gives structure without stiffness. A fine worsted wool suit feels like a second skin, one that adapts to the moment, whether under the evening lights of a dinner or the morning sun of a ceremony. Then there's linen, light, breathable, and alive. Some call it imperfect, but that's the point. Linen carries wrinkles with dignity. It's the texture of ease, the symbol of lived-in confidence. When tailored well, a linen blend blazer doesn't look careless, it looks composed. A man at peace with imperfection. And for in-between moments, blends are the bridge. Wool silk, cotton linen, wool cashmere. These combinations merge the best of both worlds, the crispness of structure and the softness of touch. They are for men who no longer prove, they express. A man over 50 understands that the feel of fabric matters as much as its look. He knows that true luxury is tactile, not loud. That elegance begins not in color, but in texture. Because when a fabric moves naturally, so does he. So choose the materials that breathe with you. Let them tell your story of patience, of quality, of life well lived. Because formality is not about perfection, it's about harmony between how you feel and how the world perceives you. And in that harmony, fabric always speaks first. Secret 3. Master the formal palette. Color harmony for every occasion. Color is silent, but it speaks volumes. Before anyone notices the fabric or the cut, they notice tone. The way light meets cloth, the way one shade complements another. After 50, color becomes less about expression and more about balance. It's not the loudness of hues, but the quiet harmony between them that defines refinement. Because elegance doesn't shout, it flows. Navy remains the cornerstone of timeless formality. It's confident without being arrogant, refined without being cold. A navy suit under warm light carries both strength and serenity. The kind of presence that doesn't demand attention, yet always receives it. Charcoal is its calm brother deeper, more introspective. It suits the man who prefers understatement, who values precision over display. When paired with a crisp white shirt or a soft ivory tone, it evokes quiet authority, the look of a man who no longer competes, but commands. For daytime events, lighter tones breathe life into structure. A beige linen blazer, a pale blue shirt, a taupe tie. These combinations reflect confidence in simplicity. They say, "I'm comfortable in my own rhythm." Because true maturity in style is not about hiding age. It's about wearing it with harmony. Even contrast has its purpose. A navy suit with a camel overcoat, a charcoal jacket over a cream turtleneck. These pairings show understanding, not experimentation. They demonstrate that you know what works for you and when to let subtlety lead. And then, there are the small accents. A silk pocket square in muted burgundy, a brown belt instead of black, a silver watch peeking from a cuff. Details that add depth without disruption. A well-curated color palette doesn't just flatter your complexion, it aligns with your personality. Because after 50, style isn't about dressing to be noticed. It's about dressing in agreement with yourself. When you master color harmony, you master presence. You no longer enter a room trying to stand out. You fit in beautifully, and that's where true elegance lives. Secret 4. The power of details. Shoes, watches, and small statements. Elegance, at its highest form, is never loud, it's precise. And precision lives in the details. Because while the world sees the suit, it's the small things, the shoes, the watch, the way a cuff sits just right, that tell the real story. After 50, refinement is not about quantity, but about intent. Every detail you choose says something about your taste, your discipline, and your quiet confidence. You don't wear accessories to decorate, you wear them to define. Start with the foundation, the shoes. They are the punctuation mark of every outfit. A pair of well-polished Oxford shoes, aged beautifully over the years, speaks of care and consistency. Brown tones from chocolate to cognac breathe warmth into a formal look, while black remains the language of ceremony and tradition. Good shoes don't just complete an outfit, they complete a statement of character. Then, there's the watch, not a display of wealth, but a reflection of values. A simple, well-made timepiece tells more than time. It tells how you value it. A clean dial, leather strap, and soft glint under light. These elements carry a man's story without needing to announce it. Because for the man over 50, the real luxury is discretion. Accessories should whisper, not shout. A silk pocket square in a muted tone, a subtle tie pin, a pair of cufflinks chosen with restraint. These are the quiet tools of presence. They add depth to your look, the way experience adds depth to your character softly, naturally, with purpose. And perhaps the most overlooked detail of all posture. The way you stand, shake hands, button your jacket. These gestures, shaped over decades, reveal more elegance than any designer label ever could. When every detail aligns the fit, the watch, the polish of the shoes, the calm in your movement, something remarkable happens. Your style disappears, and your presence takes its place. That's the true power of detail. Not to attract attention, but to express control, maturity, and self-respect. Because the man who pays attention to the smallest things never needs to say much. His elegance speaks for him. Secret 5. Presence over perfection. Confidence is the final accessory. There comes a point in a man's life when perfection stops being the goal and presence takes its place. Because no matter how refined the suit, how polished the shoes, or how elegant the watch, nothing outshines the quiet confidence of a man completely at ease with himself. After 50, you don't wear clothes to impress anymore. You wear them to align with who you are. Your suit doesn't define you, it reflects you. The fabric, the fit, the details, they all become extensions of your composure. Presence is not about standing out. It's about standing still, comfortably, in your truth. It's the calm in your shoulders, the ease in your expression, the grace in your gestures. Because real elegance is not seen, it's felt. You can sense it in the way a man walks into a room without rushing, how he listens more than he speaks, how his laughter feels earned, not performed. That's the kind of charisma no tailor can sew and no accessory can replace. True confidence isn't loud, it's grounded. It doesn't need validation because it's already anchored in experience. A man who has lived, failed, learned, and still stands tall carries an elegance deeper than any designer suit. And that's the secret many overlook. After 50, what makes you magnetic isn't perfection, it's authenticity. It's the serenity of a man who knows his worth and doesn't need to prove it. His clothes fit not just his frame, but his state of mind. So walk into every function, not trying to be noticed, but ready to belong. Because presence isn't about taking space, it's about owning it with calm assurance. When your posture speaks confidence, when your tone carries warmth, when your smile feels effortless, that's when people remember you. You are no longer dressing for attention. You're dressing for alignment between the man you've become and the grace you carry. And that's what makes your presence the most powerful accessory of all.